celebrate the new year with his family, the famous actor Christian Oliver decided to go on a vacation with his children. He completed the shooting of Forever Hold Your Peace 2 weeks before and was ready to spend time with his family. However, the vacation that was supposed to relieve his stress marked the end of his life. The actor, accompanied by his 2 young daughters, died in a plane crash. The accident was sudden and disturbing to all his fans across the world. Let's find out what happened that day. But before that, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and make sure to press the bell icon to never miss out on any of our new videos. On January 4th, 2024, the life of talented actor Christian Oliver was cut short, tragically, when he got involved in a small plane crash in the Caribbean islands. The circumstances surrounding the tragedy remain unclear, but a video circulating on the internet can provide insight into the causes of the disaster. Allegedly, eyewitnesses capture the moment of the aircraft's crash, and this footage could potentially reveal more about what led to the unfortunate incident. During the New Year holidays, Christian Oliver, renowned for his roles in Speedy Racer and Operation Valkyrie, made the decision to take a vacation with his children. Opting for the Caribbean islands, a popular destination among Americans, tragedy struck during their holiday. In a devastating accident, the beloved actor and his 2 daughters, aged 10 and 12, lost their lives. As reported by local law enforcement, the actor had rented a private light-engine plane along with a pilot. Opting for an aerial excursion to explore the scenic areas around the Caribbean Sea, Christian Oliver and his daughters embarked on the flight. Unfortunately, the outing took a tragic turn, as the plane crashed into the water shortly after takeoff. The accident claimed the lives of all the passengers and the pilot, as they all succumbed to their injuries. Coast Guard officers discovered both the wreckage of the aircraft and the bodies of the passengers and the pilot, Robert Sachs. Law enforcement agencies and criminologists are actively investigating the scene of the plane crash, diligently working to determine the cause of the tragic incident. As of now, the specific factors leading to the aircraft crash remain undisclosed. However, initial speculation suggests a potential malfunction that could have resulted in the pilot losing control. Simultaneously, the video, which has now gone viral on social media, suggests that individuals on the shore may have sensed something was amiss while the plane was still in the air, evident from the audible reactions in the ground. As the aircraft plunged into the water, creating a substantial spray, the eyewitnesses captured on the video couldn't suppress their screams of horror, which included explicit expressions. As the plane crashed into the water, fishermen, divers, and the Coast Guard swiftly responded and headed to the scene, where 4 bodies, including that of Christian Oliver and his daughters, were recovered. The authorities acknowledged the valiant efforts of Bahia's fishermen and divers community, who collaborated with the St. Vincent and Grenadines Coast Guard to successfully retrieve the 4 bodies. Following the recovery, the bodies of the actor, his daughter, and the pilot were transported to St. Vincent and taken to the Kingstown mortuary. The ill-fated flight had been en route from Bahia, a small island in the Grenadines, to St. Lucia, taking place shortly after midday on Thursday. The New York Post highlighted that prior to the tragic incident, Christian Oliver had shared a post on his social media page conveying greetings from paradise to his fans. However, after his untimely demise, the post seems creepy and haunting. At the time of this tragic accident, Oliver's ex-wife Jessica Klepser was in Los Angeles. Klepser was a regional manager for Wunderbar Pilates by Amy Jordan in California. While she didn't give a statement right away, a statement from Klepser and her family was released by Wunderbar's Instagram account over the weekend. Christian Oliver, originally known as Christian Klepser, was born on March 3, 1972, in Celle, Lower Saxony, West Germany. He spent the early years of his life in Frankfurt, Germany. As he got motivated by aspirations and the entertainment industry, Christian decided to move from Germany to the United States. Upon arriving in the US, Christian focused on developing his skills in modeling and acting. He sought training in acting through lessons in New York and Los Angeles. His breakthrough came with his role in the German television series Alarm für Cobra 11, where he co-starred from 2002 to 4, featuring in 28 episodes. He boasted an impressive list of credits. His diverse filmography included roles in the sitcoms Saved by the Bell, The New Class, and the German police procedural drama Alarm für Cobra 11. Oliver's recent appearances include roles in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and the TV movie English Estate. Additionally, he had completed filming for the movie Forever Hold Your Peace, where he served as a producer, wrapping up the production in December. After the tragic accident, Christian Oliver's ex-wife, Jessica Klepser, has initiated a GoFundMe fundraiser. To cope with the tragic loss, Jessica Klepser initiated a GoFundMe campaign with a target amount of $100,000. Remarkably, the fundraiser has surpassed expectations and has collected over $144,700, contributed by more than 750 individuals. The funds raised are intended to assist Klepser in dealing with the aftermath of this heartbreaking event and to cover the associated funeral expenses. Christian Oliver and Jessica Klepser decided to get a divorce in December 2021 after a marriage that spanned over 10 years. The process concluded in June 2022, marking the official end of their marriage. Despite the personal challenges they faced, both parties prioritized the well-being of their two daughters, Marita and Anik, throughout the entire process. During the separation and divorce, Christian Oliver and Jessica Klepser maintained a commitment to share legal custody of their daughters. Despite the end of their romantic relationship, the couple continued to look after their daughters. After the initial investigation, it was revealed that the Belanca 1730A Super Viking aircraft was carrying the actor and his family. The details surrounding the crash have sparked numerous questions about what causes small aircraft to nosedive and how common such incidents are. Unfortunately, small aircraft, especially single-engined aircraft, are more likely to crash, and the most common reason is bad weather. However, in this particular tragic event, there is no speculation that mechanical failure may have played a role in the nosedive that led to the crash of the aircraft carrying the actor and his family. An investigation will be conducted to confirm the cause, but initial indications suggest that the engine failed shortly after takeoff. In such situations, pilots are confronted with a critical decision: either continue straight to find a suitable landing spot or attempt to turn around and glide back to the runway. The key factors in making this decision revolve around altitude and airspeed. If the aircraft is at a sufficient altitude and maintains adequate airspeed, the pilot can safely execute a turnaround and glide back to the runway. However, if the altitude is too low and the airspeed is too low, attempting to turn the plane around risks a stall, leading to a spin and a subsequent nosedive into the ground. As of now, this tragic incident appears to be a combination of an engine failure followed by a decision that, in hindsight, may be considered a pilot error. The correct choice might have been to continue straight and execute a soft landing in the water. It's worth noting that, surprisingly, a significant number of water landings in small planes result in no fatalities, with common outcomes being minor to moderate injuries. For those who don't know what an impossible turn is, the impossible turn is a situation in aviation where a small plane experiences an engine failure right after takeoff, which probably happened in this case. In such tragic situations, pilots face a challenging decision: either try to turn the plane around and go back to the runway, or continue straight for a landing. If the plane is too low and slow during the turn attempt, it may stall and lose control, leading to a crash. Hence it's called the impossible turn, because under certain conditions, trying to turn back can be very risky and challenging for the pilot. While the investigation is still going on, a local news agency reported that the single-engine aircraft that tragically crashed off Picoya on Thursday, claiming the lives of all 4 people on board, reportedly appeared to explode upon impact with the water, according to the eyewitness. Cornell Campbell, who was in Paget Farm, Picoya at the time, recalled that he became aware of the plane's distress when he heard the engine and propeller noise abruptly cease. He immediately alerted his friend, predicting, "That plane is going to crash." Subsequently, Campbell observed that the plane momentarily regained power after the initial engine shutdown, only to lose altitude soon after. According to him, the aircraft managed to regain some power, attempting to climb an altitude to circumnavigate Petit Nevis, an island in the vicinity. Unfortunately, the respite was short-lived as the engine failed once more after navigating Petit Nevis. Campbell described the plane's trajectory after the second engine failure, noting that it cleared the entrance at the peak of a mountain before sharply descending. Importantly, he emphasized that the descent was not a straightforward plunge. Rather, the aircraft turned sideways as it descended and eventually plunged into the water. He later revealed an even more disturbing detail. Shortly after the plane made contact with the water, a rapid and forceful explosion occurred beneath the surface. Campbell observed fragments of the aircraft detaching as it crashed into the water. As the plane began to sink, another distinctive sound, described as a boof, resonated from below, leading Campbell to conclude that the aircraft had exploded underwater. This resonates with what the local police said. According to them, the aircraft, which departed from the JF Mitchell Airport in Paget Farm at approximately 12:11 p.m. with St. Lucia as its intended destination, encountered difficulty shortly after takeoff, leading to a tragic plunge into the ocean. Following the crash, local fishermen undertook the challenging task of retrieving the bodies from the submerged wreckage, situated some 60 to 80 feet below the water's surface. In response to the distress call, local fishermen and divers from Paget Farm swiftly mobilized their boats to provide assistance at the scene of the incident. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the SVG Coast Guard was promptly alerted and made its way to Paget Farm, Bequia, taking charge of the rescue efforts. Contrary accounts emerged regarding the recovery of the bodies. While the police statement asserted that Coast Guard personnel retrieved the bodies from the sea and were subsequently pronounced dead by a medical practitioner, local fishermen differ. According to the fishermen, they, rather than the Coast Guard officers, undertook the recovery operation as the Coast Guard lacked divers on board at the time. A fisherman who was present at the time of the tragic plane crash provided a first-hand account of the unfolding events. According to him, they initially heard the plane as it approached from the airport, but it wasn't a cause for immediate concern. However, when the aircraft was directly over the fisheries, the fishermen noticed unusual sounds, as if the engine had faltered and then recovered. Growing increasingly alarmed, the witness recounted, "So we said, that plane's giving some problems. So when it reached a little further up, we heard it short out again. So when the plane shorted out again, I jumped and said, 'Fellas, that plane ain't sound right.'" Shortly after expressing his concern, the witness lost the sound of the plane's engine and, upon looking out to the sea, witnessed the aircraft descending. Reacting swiftly to the situation, the fisherman alerted the captain of his boat and, along with the others, set out to sea. However, by the time they reached the crash site, the plane had already submerged beneath the water. The fisherman explained that the discovery of the sunken aircraft was made by two individuals who were part of the search effort, emphasizing the challenging conditions of the search in waters estimated to be 60 to 70 feet deep. Tragically, the fisherman revealed that the four passengers, including Christian Oliver and his daughters, were found inside the submerged plane, all strapped in. He further noted that Robert Sachs, the pilot and witness's former employer, was a good friend, close to the family, adding a personal connection to the heartbreaking incident. Another eyewitness hinted at the possibility of the pilot taking the impossible turn. Meanwhile, Tyrone Durham, a retired Coast Guard officer, shared his account of the tragic plane crash with a local news agency. He remembers that he was seated under a tree near the fisheries complex when he heard the sound of a small plane departing from the airport and heading east. Durham noted, "It seems as though the power cut or the engine failed," prompting him to emerge from under the tree to observe the plane. According to his observation, it appeared as though the aircraft was attempting to turn back to the airport. However, due to the prevailing wind conditions and the plane not having reached its cruising altitude, it struggled to maintain control. Describing the critical moment, Durham explained, "That's when the wind took control of it and came down and plunged into the water just about 1.5 nautical miles off Petit Nevis." Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Durham promptly alerted both the Coast Guard and nearby fishermen returning from the sea endeavors. The fishermen quickly responded to the distress call, initiating the collective efforts to address the tragic incident. Over the years, it's been noted that commercial flights are a much safer option than private planes. General aviation is often deemed riskier, primarily due to pilots having comparatively less experience at their disposal, leading to a higher incidence of pilot-related errors that contribute to a majority of aviation accidents. In this specific tragic incident, despite the presence of a mechanical failure, the resulting fatalities were caused due to the pilot's decision to attempt the challenging task known as the impossible turn. Regrettably, in this scenario, the pilot's execution of the impossible turn led to critical errors, including a decrease in airspeed, excessive banking, and a failure to respond adequately to the aircraft's buffeting signals indicative of an impending stall. Had the pilot opted for an alternative strategy, such as attempting a controlled water landing, the potential outcome could have been significantly improved. Interestingly, statistics reveal that light twin-engine planes equipped with 2 engines exhibit higher fatality rates when experiencing engine failure compared to their single-engine counterparts. This paradox can be attributed to the increased complexity introduced by the physics of handling a twin-engine aircraft with one engine malfunctioning. The intricacies of managing such a situation pose additional challenges, contributing to a higher risk of unfavorable outcomes in the event of engine failure. The single-engine aircraft involved in the tragic incident was owned and piloted by Robert Sack. Soon, allegations started surfacing, suggesting that inadequate maintenance of the plane could have played a role in the accident. It's noteworthy that a significant number of plane crashes result from a combination of factors, often involving subpar maintenance practices, pilot errors, and in some instances, a disregard for safety protocols stemming from overconfidence or ego. Analyzing the available crash footage, it is evident that the aircraft nosedived straight down, indicating the possibility of a wing loss or an issue related to excessive weight. This observation raises concerns about the overall condition of the aircraft and its components. The commentary on the crash extends to a broader cautionary perspective regarding flying in smaller private planes, particularly outside the United States. The speculation is driven by the fact that many plane crashes, especially in private aviation, are linked to negligence in maintenance, pilot errors, or a combination of both, often driven by cost-cutting measures. Such factors raise a speculative concern that the pilot might have overlooked warning signs and attempted to regain control rather than opting for a safer choice. As saddening and disheartening as this news is, it remains a fact that private planes have a much higher rate of crashes than commercial planes. According to a study, you are 200 times more likely to die while flying on a private plane than you are while flying on a commercial airliner. There have been repetitive instances of celebrities dying in a plane crash. From Kobe Bryant to Christian Oliver, such tragic incidents have cut short lives of many promising talents. Director Nick Leon, who collaborated with Klesper on their latest movie, took to social media to pay a heartfelt tribute to the actor. Leon shared a poignant photo capturing the essence of their final day of filming, commemorating the memories they created together. Co-star Bai Ling also expressed her profound sorrow, depicting Christian Oliver as not just a great colleague but also a remarkable actor and a friend. The loss of Christian Oliver has left a hole in the entertainment industry. Since the accident, those who had the privilege to work with him have been mourning the departure of a highly talented and beloved figure who had left an indelible mark with his commendable work. The pilot of the unfortunate aircraft, Robert Sachs, is being remembered as a legend and a larger-than-life character. With a legacy spanning back to 1986, Sachs operated Dive Bequia, establishing himself as a prominent and a well-respected figure in the Caribbean. Originally hailing from Springfield, New Jersey, Sachs, along with his wife Kathy, successfully ran the diving business for close to 4 decades, making it an enduring and integral part of Bequia's community. The loss of such an influential and long-standing figure left a significant impact on both the local community and the broader Caribbean region. The untimely and tragic passing of Christian Klesper, along with his daughters Madita and Anik, and pilot Robert Sachs, has created a profound void in the hearts of fans and the entertainment industry. As ongoing investigations seek to find the cause behind the plane crash, it is uncertain when the funeral of the actor and his 2 daughters will be held. As of now, no autopsy report has been released that can clarify the cause of death. This tragic event serves as a reminder to embrace our surroundings. Life doesn't come with a guarantee, and it's a hard pill to swallow. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. See you in the next video.